Today we are going to start with our fourth chapter in psychology, that is attitude and prejudice. Okay, so let's have a glimpse about what is attitude and prejudice. So in earlier chapters we learned that man is a social animal, okay, and from birth till death he keeps on learning. So the learning is a continuous process. And what does he learn and from where does he learn? He learns from his experiences in various social situations and changes that takes place. So whatever the social situation is, whatever his experiences were, he learned from them, okay? And because of that learning, attitude happens. So you should know that attitude is learned. It is not an inborn reaction, okay? It is a learned reaction. So we have attitude in our social life which are towards friends, parents, relatives, social organization, literature, culture, etc. So attitude can be regarding any specific object, individual or a situation. Attitude in social life are towards friends, parents, relatives, social organization, literature, culture, etc. We know that social psychology is an independent branch of psychology. We know that social psychology is an independent branch of psychology, and where men's social behavior is studied in depth. So in social psychology, what do we study? We study men's social behavior, and that too in depth. And attitude is one such important factor of study of social behavior of an individual as per social psychology. So attitude falls in the realm of social psychology, okay? So now we understood that attitude is related to social psychology, and we know that attitude in social life are towards friends, parents, relatives, social organization, etc. Okay. So with the help of with the wide variety of experiences, we tend to get idea about individual, object, situation and circumstances. So because of the wide variety of experiences, we have different ideas about the different individual, object, situation, circumstances. Okay. And if we talk about in psychological language, those experiences, those variety of experiences towards any object or individual or situation is called attitude, okay? So what does attitude do is, attitude gives shape to the human behavior. So how do we behave, how is our impulsive response or behavior towards a specific object, individual or a situation is termed as attitude, okay? Now we can have either favorable or unfavorable attitudes depending on our experiences, and because of that likes and dislikes also play an important role in the formation of attitude. So what do we like and what do we dislike play an important role in the formation of attitude, that either it will be a favorable one or it will be an unfavorable one, that is favorable or unfavorable attitude, okay? Now attitude can be positive as well as negative. So because of our likes and dislikes, because of our feelings and emotion that we have learned through our various experiences towards any specific object, individual, situation can lead to likes and dislikes, and because of that the attitude can be favorable, unfavorable, or it may be positive or negative, okay? So in this chapter we are going to study that what is attitude, how it is formed or developed, can it be changed or not. So we would answer such questions in this chapter, okay? So we have to look in detail, but further going on to the attitude, let's have a glimpse about what is prejudice. So we know that attitude can be positive or negative, both the way, but prejudice is a firm negative thought. So a firm negative thought is known as prejudice. Prejudice takes place in opposition to attitude and always creates a negative effect. Prejudice is in the opposition, it is opposite to the attitude and always creates a negative effect, okay? Then prejudice leaves a lasting impression on the behavior of the individual as well as the people living in the society. Because of the prejudice, a long lasting impression is left on the behavior of the individual. Though that individual who has prejudiced something, the long lasting impression has been created on him because of the prejudice, and also prejudice creates the impression on the society in which we are living. Okay, so over here if we talk about prejudice, example can be સુરતી તો બહુ ગાળો બોલે છે. Like it is a prejudice. Not every Surti speaks offensive words, but it is a prejudice against the Surtis. Okay, and other example would be અમદાવાદીઓ તો બધા લુચ્ચા હોય છે. But it's not true. It is a prejudice against Ahmedabadis, but not all Ahmedabadis are like lucha, but it's a prejudice. So prejudice is a negative thought towards any situation or any individual, okay, or any object. So prejudice is the cause of social conflict and social discrimination. So because of this prejudice, we have social conflict and we tend to discriminate. So if you believe in the prejudice that Surtiyo to bo gaalo bole, so because of this prejudice you may avoid Surtis in your social gathering. It may happen. So because of this prejudice, social conflicts are created and also social discrimination can be seen. Okay, now we will deal with this attitude and prejudice in detail in this chapter. So let's move on to the attitude. What is the meaning and the nature of attitude? So over here we have certain definitions given by different psychologists. So let's have the first definition given by B. Kuppuswamy, that is the Indian psychologist. He said that attitude is a consistent, learned and impulsive response or behavior towards a specific object, individual or a situation. So according to B. Kuppuswamy, what is attitude? It is a consistent, learned and impulsive response or behavior. So what is attitude? It is a consistent, means it does not change regularly. It is a learned. Attitude is not inborn, but we learn with our experiences and the situations that take place in our life. And it is an impulsive response or behavior. So it is an impulsive response. That means you do not need to think about anything before you react to that object or a specific person or a specific situation, towards a specific situation, object or individual or a situation. So we know that attitude is consistent, which cannot be changed. It is learned, that is, it is not inborn. We have to learn attitude. We learn attitude. And an impulsive response. Impulsive response or behavior means you do not have to think before you react. Okay, and these three are towards specific object, individual or a situation. And this kind of impulsive behavior that is learned and that is consistent is towards a specific object, individual or a situation. We will further go on with an example later on, but let's have the other definitions as well first. Now, according to Gordon Allport, what is attitude? It is a mental and neural state. What is an attitude? It is a mental and neural state of readiness to respond. So how is a mental or neural state? You have readiness to respond to a specific object, individual or situation with which it is related. So what is attitude according to Allport? It is your mental and neural state. It is your mental state in such a way that you are ready to respond. And for which you are ready to respond, towards which you are ready to respond, towards a specific object, individual or a situation which is related to it. Okay, so you always are ready to respond to specific object, individual or situation, then it is your attitude. Okay, now by Barron and Bryan, it means when people evaluate any aspect of their social world like object, thought, event, individual, social groups, either in a positive or negative way and respond to it, then it is called attitude. So what does Barron and Bryan says is attitude refers to how people evaluate any aspect, means what are their evaluation regarding their social world. Like what are social world includes objects, thoughts, events, individuals, social groups, either in a positive or negative way. So a person can evaluate those social world in positive or negative way, and based on that evaluation how they respond is known as attitude. Okay, then we have the last definition. It says that attitude represents fundamental factor of all facets of thought. It means, what does attitude represent? The fundamental factor of all facets of thought. So whatever you have thought or whatever the thinking that you are going on, that is represented by that fundamental factor is known as attitude. Okay, Then it is said that every society has got wide variety of traditions, values, culture, morals, thinking, lifestyle, etc., which bring about change in attitude and behavior time and again. So we live in society and we are dealing with social psychology, that is attitude is the part of social psychology, and we know that it would be related to society. So we have variety of traditions, values, cultures, morals, thinking, lifestyle, etc., and those things bring change in our attitude and the behavior time and again. Okay, they also change the human values and goals. On the basis of the above definition, few points are clear about the attitude. Now from the definitions we can say that attitude is a psychophysical behavior of an individual arising out of mental cognition. So what is attitude? It is a psychophysical behavior. What does psychophysical behavior means? Psychophysical means the relationship between the internal, that is mental, and the external, that is your physical behavior. So your relationship between mental and the physical behavior of individual arising out of mental cognition. And now what is mental cognition? We understood in the previous chapters also. Mental cognition means the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experiences and the senses. Okay, so we know that it is mental cognition is a mental action or process for acquiring knowledge and understanding through our thoughts, experiences and the senses. So we know that what we have learned, and because of that what we have are mental and physical behavior of the individual. So let's have an example for this. Suppose we can say that attitude involves a person's feelings or emotion about the attitude object. Now for example, I say I am scared of spiders. So over here spider would be my attitude object. Why? Because I am scared of it. And so what are my feelings and emotions related to that attitude object? What are my feelings and emotions related to spider, that is my attitude object? It is that I am scared of it. So it is a negative emotion feelings. Okay, then we know that because of this our attitude, our behavior is generated. So we can say that the behavioral component or the impulsive behavior, we can say, related to that object, that is attitude object, is influenced by our attitude. So how we will react to that attitude object in our behavior, that is our behavioral component. Okay, that is a physical component. So for example, I will say I will avoid such spiders and scream if I see one. So what will be my impulsive behavior would be? I will avoid those spiders and even I will scream. So that will be my behavior. So you can see the psychophysical relationship between because of our mental cognition that has we developed regarding that attitude object. So my attitude object was spider and I was scared about it. So my psychological, that is my mental or we can say feeling or emotion towards that attitude object was negative because I was scared of it. And because of that feeling and emotion that was involved, that is that negative attitude that I created regarding the spider, so my impulsive behavior was either I would avoid it or I will scream if I see that spider. Okay, so it is clear that attitude is a psychophysical behavior of the individual arising out of mental cognition. Okay, then the next factor is attitude gives direction to human behavior and leads him or her to give a response. So we know that after ascertaining attitude to a certain specific object, individual and situation, attitude gives direction to human behavior. So how we will behave is directed by attitude, and that because of that the individual is leaded to response which is directed by the attitude. Okay, and the last one is, as every individual possesses different attitude, their reaction to them is also different. So we know that different person have different attitude towards the same thing, so their reaction to that same thing would be also different. Okay, so here we understood the meaning of the attitude. Now let's move on to the nature of attitude. So to understand the attitude, it is also important to understand its nature. So the first one is, attitude is not inborn but a learned reaction. We know that attitude is not inborn. We are not born with our attitude, but we learn because of our various experiences and the situations that take place in our social life. Okay, say for example, over here example of child and a mother is given. That is, if child does not like something, the mother gives him a different thing that he likes, so his attitude is formed in that way. Suppose you, whenever you try to do something, suppose you try to write something but you could not write, so your attitude will form in that way. For example, if you are trying to write French but you are not able to do so, so what your attitude will form is that French is a difficult language to learn. Okay, so because of the experiences, because of our social situations and the changes that take place in our life, we learn through all those things. Okay, and we form our attitude. So over here it is written that attitudes are formed on the basis of the way in which an individual is brought up in the family, school, society and culture. So what all makes difference in a child's learning, that is his attitude formation, it's his family, school, society and culture. Okay, then the second nature is attitude is relatively permanent. This means attitude cannot be changed easily. But why? Because we know that experiences are learned and that is attitude is formed on the basis of experiences which are stable, permanent and bring long-term change. Attitude is formed on the basis of experiences which are stable, permanent and bring long-term change in the behavior, and so sometimes are difficult to change also. It is not such that you cannot change your attitude ever. You can, but it is difficult to change as it has been learned because of your experiences. And when you learn from your experiences, those learning are stable, permanent and they bring long-term changes in your behaviors. Okay. So as per the experiment of Norman Silver, it's proved that attitude once formed do not change that easily, especially in social tradition, customs, etc. So what did Norman and Silver experimented, that when your attitudes are formed due to some social tradition or customs, they are very much difficult to change. So we know that we can take the examples from our society, such as caste system, child marriages, untouchability, etc. So this attitude were formed because of our social tradition and custom. And we know that till today we suffer from all these things. Okay, so this type of attitude are relatively very difficult to change in an individual's life. Okay, but still many societies are not ready to accept the change and still practice it. Why it is so? Because this type of attitude that was formed because of social tradition and customs, we know that the societies would not easily accept it and would not change, like to change it, and they still practice it. Though they know these are the negative factors in our society, this should not be there, but still they follow because of the attitude. So we have to keep trying till we can bring awareness and awakening among the people. Okay. This shows that change in attitude is difficult, but it is not impossible. So you can change your attitude. It is not impossible, but it is a difficult one. Okay. So because of this thing, we say that attitude is relatively permanent. It is not exactly permanent, but it is relatively permanent. Okay. Then the third nature is attitude is related to an individual or object. So here it means is in an individual's personal reaction or behavior towards a specific thing or object. So what does attitude means is attitude is related to a specific individual, a specific object or a specific situation. So they are unique or typical characteristics of a person. So they are unique or typical characteristics of a person. So we know that it is related to an individual or an object. So there will be unique or typical characteristics of that person. Okay. So as per the Allport that we studied in the definition, what does attitude means is attitude is a mental readiness to respond to a specific object, individual or situation. So even Allport said that. And we know that attitude is a mental readiness. We are mentally ready to respond if that specific object, individual or situation for which we have formed an attitude is presented before us. Okay. So attitude encourages an individual to react either in a favor or opposition for an object or a thing. Okay. So we know that attitude can be favorable or it can be unfavorable, it can be positive or it can be negative. So because of how attitude is formed, the person can either react in a favor or in opposition also. Here the example is given that a person who is in favor of semester method in exam will always speak good about it and show how advantageous it is. So over here the attitude is related to the semester method in exam. So we over here the person is related, that person has formed the attitude towards the semester method in exam, and if he has positive attitude towards that, he will speak good things about it and he will tell everyone how advantageous it is. So we know that attitude is related to individual or object. So attitude cannot be formed in a heavy manner, but it is directed to an individual or an object. Okay. Then the fourth one we have, attitude develops from individual to group. So what happens is, if an individuals develop an attitude, they certainly develop towards the group. So let's have it. Just like learning and perception, even in attitude we can see the principle of generalization. We know what is the principle of generalization. So just like in learning and perception, we learned in the chapter of learning also what is generalization. So we start associating different stimuli also towards particular learning. So this attitude also in attitude also we can see the principle of generalization. So attitude that were formed on the basis of individual experiences slowly move from individual to religious groups or community to which he belongs, and everybody starts reacting in the same way. So what does it mean is, the attitude which was formed on the basis of individual experiences. So if I experienced something and my attitude was formed because of that, slowly my attitude will move from individual to my religious group or my community to which I belong, and even everybody will start reacting in the same way. For example, over here it is said that the example is given, many times it has been observed that when a girl from rich family gets married to a boy middle class family, people assume that she comes from the rich family, so she will not do any work, and on the basis of this they generalize that girls of rich family are not good. So what example is given over here, that if a rich girl is married to a middle class boy and if that girl does not work, so what our individual attitude will be formed, that rich girls do not work, that rich girls from the rich family are not good. And certainly from my individual attitude it will transfer to, or it will develop towards the to my group, that is to my religious group or to my community in which I live. So over here another example is given, that is, if an individual is cheated once or twice by a businessman, then the individual generalizes that all businessmen are cheaters. So over here the person was cheated by one or two businessmen. So what does he generalize? That all businessmen are cheaters. Okay. So such attitudes are formed on the basis of individual experiences and they slowly pass on to the groups. Okay. From individual to group which they belong. Okay. Then the fifth one is, attitudes are extended to groups. Means members of the same group usually have similar attitude. So if you see a group of friends or a group of maybe any association in which you will notice that the individuals of that group have similar attitudes. They do not remain only to the individual, but the whole group gets affected by it. So if you are in a group, the attitude will be affected to you, and thus slowly and gradually that attitude will extend to the group and your group will have similar attitude. Say for example, over here the social example we can see that Gandhiji's principle of cleanliness and untouchability was not only his principle but of the whole ashram and all those people who were associated with him. So Gandhiji principle was cleanliness and untouchability. So it was observed that the people living in his ashram were also having the principle of cleanliness and untouchability. Now we can have another example of in our society we follow Atithi Devo Bhava. So it is not an individual attitude, but it is a attitude of our group, that is of our India in which we live. Okay. Then the sixth one is, attitude are purposeful and full of feelings. So even though it is learned and attitude is related to specific individual, object or situation, still attitude are purposeful and it is full of feelings. That is, most of our attitudes are purposeful and are based on feelings. They make an individual behave either in favor or opposition of another group or individual. Because of our attitude, we know that we can behave favorably or in opposition to any another group or any individual or any object. Okay. So generally attitudes are not very firm, which means here example is given that even after having very positive attitude towards religion, many religious leaders and superstitions people are not ready to accept scientific explanation for religious practice, and in the same way people of science background do not accept preaching of religious leaders because they consider them to be superstitious. In this way, both groups oppose the views of each other as per their attitude. So what is said in this example is people hold very positive attitude towards their religion, and because of that positive attitude, still the religious leaders or the superstitious people would not accept anything that is presented to them in a scientific manner. Okay. So still they have positive feeling about their religion, but they would not understand if something is wrong in their religion. While on the same hand, if a scientist is trying to explain them what is the scientific reason behind their ideology, they will not understand. So both the groups oppose their thinking because of their attitude. So here we can see that the group of religious people have full of feelings regarding their attitude towards their religion, while we can say that the group of scientists have their purposeful insight or the purposeful attitude towards their thinking. So this both groups oppose each other. Okay. So attitudes are purposeful and they are full of feelings. Okay. And the last one is attitude shows likes and dislikes of an individual. So we know that every individual will have likes and dislikes towards an object or thing. And how does attitude shows likes or dislikes of an individual? Because of the behavior that was directed by his attitude. So we can clearly see what an individual likes and what he does not. So the way a person thinks, feels or act is guided in a direction by attitude. So we know that attitude guides our behavior and how we respond to that specific object or individual or a situation. So we can come to know that person likes or dislikes that particular thing or something. Okay. So an individual likes to be in the company of people whom he likes and also maintains long-term relationship with them. Supposing he dislikes a person, then he tries to remain away from him. For example, a child who does not like to go to school or do homework will develop dislike towards the school, teachers, parents and develop negative attitude towards them. So how a person responds to a certain situation, to an individual or to an object, from that we can come to know that a person likes that certain specific object specific object, individual or situation, or he dislikes it. Okay. So for an example, if a child avoids doing homework, say the example is given over here, so he will develop a negative attitude towards his parents, towards his teachers and towards the school, and so he will start disliking it, and that would be reflected in his behavior. So because of his negative behavior, we could come to know that he dislikes certain things. Okay. So here we complete our nature of attitude. So we till today we understood the meaning of the attitude and also the nature of the attitude. Okay.